Creations Misfit, and today I'm going to show you how to make my dreamsicle beanie. Um, what you're going to need is some size 5 bulky yarn, a faux fur ball on top if you'd like. A stitch marker is optional, but if you have trouble finding your stitches in the round, I would suggest using a stitch marker. And I'm going to be using a 10mm hook today, but there's some different options for that, so I'll get to that. Scissors and a yarn needle. Okay, now the yarn that I'm using for the tutorial here, because it shows up nicely, is Bernat Maker Home Deck. It's not normally something that you would use to make a hat, but it shows up really good for tutorials because there's no extra fiber on it. So I'm going to be using that today, which is a size 5 bulky yarn. However, the hat that I'm actually going to be making, or that I originally wanted to make, was with Bernat roving yarn. And this is also considered a size 5 yarn, but look at the difference in sizes here. It's almost twice as thick as the home deck. So when I started making this hat today, it just is about way too big with a 10mm hook. So if your yarn is thicker like this, your size 5 bulky is thicker, then I would suggest using an 8mm hook, possibly a 9 if you want a little bit of the larger hat. But otherwise, if your yarn is like this size, then I would use a 10mm hook. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This is really easy and it worked up really quickly. I just wrote the pattern this morning and I made a couple of them, and I would say it would probably take you maybe an hour, less if you crochet quickly. So go ahead and get your yarn, and what we're going to do to start is we're going to chain 45. Now this is for a normal adult size beanie. The multiples are going to be 5. So if you're trying to make a child's hat, you might want to do 35, or if you want a larger adult hat, you might want to do 50 stitches or chains. Whatever you want to do is in multiples of 5. So I did 45, and I have, I would say, a normal size hat, and it fit with a little bit of a stretch for extra room. So 45 is what we'll start with. So go ahead and chain up 45. And instead of showing you all my chaining here, I'm going to go ahead and do my chains off camera, and then I'll meet you back here after you've done your 45 and I've done mine. Okay, I'm back with my 45 chains, and what we're going to do next is connect this into a circle. So you need to make sure that all your chains are facing up. Just kind of go along, make sure they're all facing upward, because you don't want the chain to turn when you connect it. And we're going to go into this very first chain, the top of the very first chain that we started with, and just do a slip stitch to connect the circle. Okay, and then you can kind of check to make sure everything's upright. Looks good. Okay, so once you've connected your circle, you're going to chain 1. And then for the very first round, we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch around. So that includes the very first one, because we have 45 chains and we need 45 half double crochets. So you should probably know how to do a half double crochet. If you don't, I do have tutorials for that, so you can check the description box below and I'll have a tutorial for a half double crochet. Otherwise, just go ahead and get started. We're going to yarn over our hook, and we're going to go into this very first chain right here and do our first half double crochet. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now the chains are kind of hard to work into like this. I don't like starting hats this way, but I had an idea for the brim and I liked it, so there was no other way around it. But it gets easier as we go. Alright, so here's the next one. I always just go into the top part. You can go into either both these 2 loops or just the top. I'm just going to go into the tops. So go ahead and put our second half double crochet. And then just go ahead and work your way around, and we're going to end up with 45 half double crochets. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you back here when we've done our 45. Okay, I've gone around and I did my 45 half double crochets, and your project should look something like this point. And we're going to just go into that first half double crochet and slip stitch. To slip stitch, you go under both loops, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, so now our circle is completed all the way around, and we have 45 half double crochets. So for the next round, round 3, and if you want to use your stitch marker now, you would just go into that last one that we created right here and place your stitch marker so that you know where to stop next round. Okay, for round 3, we're going to start with a chain 1, and then we're going to do what's called a third loop half double crochet. Now this gives it kind of a knit look, which is what I really liked for the brim of this hat, and it's really simple to do. It's just the same as a half double crochet, but instead of normally we would go through these first 2, sorry, I'm trying to get some more yarn here. Normally we would yarn over and go through these first 2 loops right here. We're going to turn and look in the back. There's a third loop right there. If you can see it here. See, here's the front loop, here's the back loop, and then if you turn, there's a third loop. It almost looks like, here you can see your stitches, all the V's. If you turn it, it almost looks like another stitch there with the V's. So what we're going to do is just go and do a half double crochet into the back loop. Just the third loop, I'm sorry. So yarn over, go into that third loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Okay, and then if you turn your work, it just starts to look like normal, the normal tops. So here's the next one we're going to go into. Yarn over, go into the back third loop, yarn over, and do your half double crochet. Next one, right here, half double crochet. And what that does is it pushes out these loops in the front, and it kind of just makes it stand out, and it starts to look like a knit look, which I really like. So go ahead and do your third loop, half double crochet all the way around, and you should have 45 when you get to the end where your stitch marker is. And I'll meet you back here. Okay, I went around and did my 45 third loop half double crochets, and this is what you should have. And as you can see, it starts to look kind of knitted here, where those get pushed forward, the stitch gets pushed forward. So what you're going to do here is go ahead and slip stitch with the very first stitch of the round, and that will close us off for that third round. And then if you'd like, you can put your your stitch marker right there. Goodness, this one doesn't want to stay open. Okay, so for rounds 4 and 5, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go into that back third loop again. So here is our front loop, here is our back loop, and then here is our third loop right there. Okay, and if you turn your work enough, it just starts to look like the regular back loop. Here's the third loop, third loop, third loop, third loop. And if you turn right side up, you can see front loop, front loop, front loop, back loop, back loop, back loop, third loop, third loop, third loop. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rounds of third loop half double crochet, and then I'll meet you back. So make sure you do 2 more rounds. So we'll go round 4 and round 5. and then we'll come back together and we'll go on to the next step. All right, I am finished with round 5. Get that straggler out of there. And this is what we should have so far. See, it looks like knitting, kind of, how those come out. It's nice and ribbed. So that's basically the brim of our hat. Nice, thick, stretchy brim. And we're going to move on to row 6. Okay, so you're going to chain 1. And then for row 6, we're going to start with 4 regular half double crochets. So go ahead and go into your regular double crochet. We're going to do 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now for the next stitch, we're going to do a front post half double crochet. So if you're not familiar with front post, it's basically the same thing as a half double crochet, but instead of going into the stitch, you're going to go around this post. And I do have a video for front post stitching, and I'll put that in the description as well if you need more of a refresher or if you need a little bit more time with it. But basically you just yarn over, you go around the post, like through the back and out through the front, and this is what your hook should look like. And then yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and pull through all 3 like you would for a double crochet, or I'm sorry, half double crochet. And that's it. We're just going to do 1 front post. And then from there, we're going to go and we're going to do 4 more regular half double crochets into the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do another front post. Now it's kind of hard. I had trouble with this earlier when I was making the pattern. I kept messing up which post to go in, because it looks like this is your next post, but that's actually for this stitch. So you're gonna go into this next one. And once we do a few of them, it will get easier, but we're going to repeat this 9 times around. So you should have 9 front post half double crochets at the end of this round and 45 stitches all together again, and you'll end with a front post half double crochet. So let's do this last one together, and then I'll leave you to it to go ahead and finish up the last 7 repeats on your own. So we're going to go into this post here, yarn over, go behind the post, and come back up through it, and then yarn over and pull through, and yarn over and finish your half double crochet. And then you'll have to go into this stitch right here. You might do it differently than me, but this is the way that when I was working on the pattern earlier, this is what worked for me. So as long as you have your 45 stitches around and you have 9 front post half double crochets, then you're solid, so no worries. But if you're not sure, you'll have to go into this one. It almost looks like it's over that, but that's kind of how I was doing it. So go ahead and finish up. We're going to do 4 half double crochets and then a front post half double crochet, and then 4 half doubles and then a front post half double, and then I'll meet you back when we've finished. And you can see them just standing out a little bit. It's not too much. You don't notice it too much, but I just liked a little bit of I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Oh, texture in the pattern instead of just straight stitches. So you can kind of see if you push these down that they do stand out just a little bit here and here. And we'll do a few more rows of them as we build. So it just gives it a little bit of a difference in texture as the beanie goes on. Okay, so go ahead and finish that row, row 6, and I'll meet you back for row 7. Okay, welcome back. We are done with row 6, or just about finished with row 6. So then you're going to want to go into the top of the first one and slip stitch. And this is what we should have so far. You can kind of see your, whoops, sorry about that. You can kind of see your front posts sticking out a little bit, just a little bit. So for the next round, round 7, we are going to start with a chain 1. I'm gonna make sure this camera's still on. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start with a chain 1, and then this round is really simple. You're just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around. So in every stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, all the way around, and you should have 45 when you get to the end. So 45 single crochets and slip stitch into the very first. You can use your stitch marker if you'd like. I'm not going to continue using it because it just takes time to take it in and out for me, and I know where I'm at. But if you need it, go for it, and then I'll see you back at the end of round 7. All right, after round 7, this is what we should have. Our single crochets all the way around, and we're going to move right on to round 8. So go ahead and start with a single chain. And for round 8, we're going to do back loop only half double crochets. So if you're unfamiliar with how to do that, before when we used the third loop, it was in the back. This one, we're just going to do the back loop only. So here's the front. Oops. Let me take this out. Here's the front loop of your stitch. There we go. And here's the back loop. So we're going to do half double crochets just in the back loop, which will make this this row of single crochets kind of turn somewhat how we did the bottoms here, but just not as much. So we're going to go into the first one and do, whoops, yarn over, go into the back loop only, and do your half double crochet. And then the next, back loop only, half double crochet. Next, back loop only, half double crochet. Next one, back loop only, half double crochet. And then you can kind of see how it makes this front loop stand out. So go ahead and do a full round of those, and you will have 45 when you get to the end. Slip stitch to the very top of the first one to complete round 8, and then I will meet you back for round 9. Okay, here's the end of round 8 with our 45 stitches already slip stitched. And for those of you that like to move forward on your own, I'm just going to let you know the next 3 rounds, round 9, 10, and 11, we're just going to repeat rounds 6, 7, and 8. So don't worry if you want me to, or if you need a refresher on each round, I'm going to meet you back at the end of each round and tell you what to do. But for those that like to move forward, we're just going to repeat rounds 6, 7, and 8. Round 6 was the 4 half double crochets, and then the 1 front post half double crochet. Round 7 is the single crochets around, and round 8 was what we just finished, which was the back loop only half double crochet. So if you'd like to move on your own and do those 3, that's fine. But for everybody else, I will keep meeting you back at each round and letting you know what's coming next. So we just finished round 8. We're going to do round 9, which is a repeat of round 6. And in round 6, we started with chain 1, and then we did 4 half double crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we went and we did our front post half double crochet. Okay, so from there you'll go ahead and do your front post, and then just keep going all the way around with the same pattern. 4 half doubles and then 1 front post half double. And I'll meet you back at the end of round 9. We've come to the end of round 9, and this is what your project should look like. These should pretty much be lined up, if you can kind of tell where your front posts are, they should pretty much be lined up. If they're not, it's no big deal. This isn't a project that needs perfection by any means. I'm far from perfect, as you can probably tell by looking at my work here, but it's fine if they're off or whatever. It just adds texture to the hat, so it's no problem if it's not perfect. Okay, moving on, we're going to go to round 10 and we're going to repeat round 7, which was a single crochet all the way around. So start with your chain 1 and then do 1 single crochet in each stitch around for 45 stitches. And I will meet you back after round 10. Okay, welcome back. I have to apologize. I'm using my phone camera and it died and I didn't realize it, so I ended up doing 2 more rounds, but I'll explain to you where you're at. So we just finished round 10, which was a repeat of round 7, which was single crochet all the way around 45 stitches. So now we're going to move on to round 11, which is just a repeat of round 8. It's the back loop only, half double crochet all the way around. And I already did that, so just go ahead and do your own back loop only. If you remember, we just go into this back loop, not the front, not both, but just the back. Back loop only, half double crochet all the way around, 45 stitches, and then I will meet you back here. Okay, and we've just finished round 11, which was the back loop only, half double crochets all the way around. And now round 12 is also a repeat. It's our last repeat. And this is before we start decreasing the top of the hat. So for round 12, you're just going to repeat round 6, which was the 4 half double crochets and then 1 front post half double crochet. And I just finished that round already. Like I said, I apologize. My camera had stopped and I didn't even realize it. So you're going to go ahead and finish up that round. And this is what your half double crochet post will kind of look like. Like I said, they should be pretty much in line here, 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 here. But if they're not, it's no problem. Even if you totally messed up and it was totally spaced out, it's fine. It's just for texture. So go ahead and finish round 12, which is 4 half double crochets and then 1 front post half double crochet. Okay, and now after round 12, we're going to move on to round 13. So you should have just finished um, your slip stitch, and we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And for round 13, we're going to do 3 single crochets, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 together. Sorry, I had to look at my pattern notes. I just wrote this morning and I was just kind of jumbling it down really quickly. So, okay, we're going to do 3 single crochets. So go into this first stitch here. Whoops. 1 single crochet, 2, and 3. And then we're going to do a single crochet 2 together. We're going to start decreasing. So a single crochet 2 together. Okay, sorry about that again. My camera is being really funny. So anyways, we just did our first 3 single crochets. We're going to do a single crochet 2 together. So you go into the stitch like you would a regular single crochet and you pull up a loop. And instead of yarning over and pulling through, we're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then you're going to pull through all 3 loops, and that's your first decrease. So that's a repeat pattern. We're going to do 3 single crochets in a row, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do a decrease. So go into this next stitch like a regular single crochet, and then go into the next stitch, pull up a loop so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, I'll do one more pattern repeat with you. 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then a decrease. Into the stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around. 3 single crochets by themselves, and then 1 single crochet decrease. And I'll meet you at the end of round 13. Okay, I'm coming up to my last 2 stitches here, and you should end with a single crochet decrease. Okay, and then just go ahead and slip stitch in the top of that first single crochet, slip stitch, and chain 1. Okay, for the next 2 rows, for row 14 and row 15, we're going to do back loop half double crochets, just like we did before. Okay, so your back loop half double crochets all the way around. We're going to do this for 2 rows. So go ahead and finish up 2 rows. I'm not going to come back in between each one. I'll just come back after I've done 2 full rows, which is rounds 14 and 15. So I'll see you at the end of round 15. Okay, I've just completed round 15. We just have 2 more rounds to go, and they're very simple. Okay, so I hope you already slip stitched into the top of your first one, and we're going to go on to round 16, which we start with a chain 1, and we're going to single crochet 1. Oh, and in the last round I had 35 stitches. I hope that's right. So if you were counting your stitches, then you should have had 35. All right, so chain 1, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do a single crochet 2 together, or a decrease, just like we did before. So go into that next stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And that's going to be the repeat all the way around. I'll just do it with you here. We're going to do a single crochet, and then a single crochet, well, maybe I'm going to do it with you, a single crochet decrease, 1 single crochet decrease, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and so on all the way around. I know this yarn isn't really meant for hats or anything like that, but I do like the feel of it. It's kind of, it feels like it would be good for like spring or fall or something. It's really stretchy. Okay, let's do our decreases all the way around. Now I've lost my count. I'm just getting started doing YouTube videos. I think I said that in the beginning, but if you have any suggestions for me or things that you'd like to see, please leave them in the comments below, as long as they're kind. But no, really, I mean, I will take any kind of criticism and things like that as long as it comes from a good place. I want to do more and more, and I know I'll get better at them as I go. You know, this is only like day 3 of me doing videos, so if you have any suggestions or comments for me, please leave them below. Or if I helped you at all, you can leave that in the comments too, and that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, I may have messed up here as I was talking, but I ended on a single crochet. So if you end like that, because this is just my chain, if you end like that, that's fine. Or if you end in a decrease, I'm sure that's fine too. It will all work out. Like I said, this isn't a perfection project. Okay, and then our last round, what we're going to do is back loop only, half double crochet decreases all the way around. So you're going to start with a chain 1, and we're going to do that back loop, half double crochet, so that our single crochet sticks out. And we're just going to go into the back loop, but we're going to decrease. So it's just going to be decreases all the way around. So go ahead, here, let me start over. Go ahead in the back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, back loop again, pull up a loop, and you'll have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 5. Okay, and then yarn over, go into the next stitch, back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, back loop only, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. And we're going to do that all the way around, just decreases. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5. And just go ahead and decrease all the way around. I'd also love to see your projects. If you finish this, on Instagram, my handle is Creations Misfit, and you could always tag me in it or DM it to me. I'd love to see what you made and how yours turned out. And you know what? I know I said this was our last round, but I think that we need to do one more round. Okay, and when you get all the way around, then you're going to slip stitch to the top of the first one. And you should have a little hole up there. Yeah, we're going to have to... Well, you could sew that together if you want to stop here. You could just sew the top together because we're going to put a like faux fur ball on it. But if you'd like to do one more row of decreases, I think that's probably best. So let's just do one real quick. Start with a chain 1, and we'll just do regular decreases. You don't have to go into the back loop. So regular half double crochet decreases, just to tighten up that top a little bit. Sometimes you can just pull the top together and it's no big deal, but there was kind of a big hole there still, so sorry, I'm trying to get through this so that we don't lose light here as well, because I'm in front of the window. Okay, and then I end with just one, so I'm just going to do a regular half double crochet in the end there. And then just slip stitch to the first one, and you'll just have a little hole, and I'll show you we can just sew that up. So go ahead and cut your yarn. Leave a kind of a long tail so you can sew in your end. I always just finish with a chain here. Pull it, and then you have like a little hole there, which is fine. We're going to put a faux fur ball on top, or even if you don't want to, you can just sew up the top anyways. So I'm going to thread my needle, and then just kind of, you can weave your, you can do this 2 ways. You can either go back and forth through your stitches here, and it will just kind of close up like that, or you can go around. I'll just show you real quick. If you kind of go around, in and out the top, then you can pull it, and it kind of cinches like a drawstring. You just kind of go in and out of each stitch, and then you pull it, and it just cinches like a drawstring. And then you can just kind of go in and out of some of these stitches back and forth to make sure that it's secure and solid. And like I said, I'm not too worried about the top, the way it looks, because I'm gonna put a this faux fur ball up here, so you won't even see that. But you can kind of just maneuver your stitches around a little bit and then push your hook through to the inside of the hat, and maybe go around a couple more just to make sure your stitches are tight in there. and it's not going to come apart. However you want to do it. I mean, you don't have to do it this way. I'm sure a lot of people do things differently, but this is just an option. And then I kind of just do a knot there, and then you can cut your yarn. And you'll weave in the end that we started with later as well. And then there is your dreamsicle beanie. And this is what it should look like, or something close to that. And the top looks just fine. So, and so you can either wear it like that or put a faux fur ball on it and wear it like that. So anyways, thank you for coming along on this journey with me. I know it was a little bit of a mess, but like I said, I'm just kind of new at this and getting started. So if I helped you, if you could like the video, that would be really helpful for me. I'm trying to get my my channel started, and it's difficult. So anybody that would like to subscribe, I would be happy if you'd like to do that, or if you'd like to like the video, or if you could leave any comments below. That would be wonderful. If there's anything that you'd like me to do tutorials for, any specific stitches or patterns, please let me know, and I'll try to get those done as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Happy crocheting!